What is up, everybody? I am NerdRage36, and after a while, because I record my videos a day in advance, I'm starting to notice not a whole lot of people want to watch my Jak and Daxter videos. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to focus on the view counts, but seriously? Only 3 or 4 people are watching something Jak and Daxter related? Well, I guess since it is an old franchise, and maybe if Naughty Dog do make something with those screenshots we've seen, maybe more people will watch it, but whatever. I'm still going to do Jak and Daxter videos eventually, but right now I figure I'll do some other topics related to things that I like. Another one of my favorite franchises, well, more so recent franchise, you'll see in a minute. I want to talk about Xenoblade. Specifically the Xenoblade games, because I haven't played the rest of the Xeno games, and I've kind of heard that some of them are really hard to find, and some of them can't even run on something modern. Or the only way to play it on something modern is emulation. So I got into the Xenoblade games. So I figured I'd talk a bit about these. And specifically, I want to talk about the end to Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's been just about a year, well no, it's been almost a year now. People who are interested in this game have either played it or have talked about it to death enough that I can explain what I think happened at the very end. Now, in case you don't know, at the very end of the game, well, more specifically, at the post-credits sequence, there is a post-credits scene. It turns out that the life hold was broken. This whole time. The thing that drove our adventure, looking for the different pieces, trying to get this damn thing so we can restore the bodies and minds of humanity, it was broken. This entire time. And that just leaves so many people in confusion because wasn't the life hold supposed to be feeding our consciousness into our mimeosomes? So if the thing was broken, we'd be dead. And yet we're still alive. And then at the very end of this post-credit scene, we see Lao's body, his mimeosome body, wash up on the beach, and then, shoom, his eyes open. And it just cuts right there. What? That's what most people were saying when they saw that ending, but I think I've got an answer for this. And actually, I believe that this could be used as a way of explaining the connection to the first game. Now, I know that Xenoblade Chronicles X was supposed to be a spiritual sequel to the original, with similar gameplay and exploration, but I think that with that post-credit scene, and with something that they did establish in the first Xenoblade, they can connect the two. And I'm going to go over what I think could be the connecting factor here and now. I think Planet Mira is the remains of Bionis and Mechonis that we see at the end of the first Xenoblade game after Shulk rebooted the universe. Think about it, a lot of territory on Planet Mira looks so much like Bionis and Mechonis. Like the open plains, I can't remember the name specifically, right outside New LA, that looks like Bionis. The Noctilum Forest, that looks like Bionis, specifically Machna Forest. It was like the jungle, like the open plains and the jungle area is just so much like Bionis. It's not even funny. And then Oblivia, I'm sorry, how does that not scream Sword Valley? Especially with that giant flying saucer ring thing, like sticking out of the ground. It looks like Sword Valley. Sylvalum, however you pronounce that one, that could be a little more tricky to figure out because, well, it's, I guess, a snowy area, but then all of a sudden it's got weird plant life that looks like the snow. Maybe that's combining stuff like Valak Mountain and the open plains of Bionis, so it's more so flora, but also or fauna, whichever one. But like it's plant life, but also snowy plant life, whatever. But Cauldros is definitely like the inside of Valak Mountain in the Bionis' arm, because there was volcanic activity all over that place, and it is connected to the snowy area. So if Sylvalum is supposed to be a snowy area, then that would explain the connection there. Now, how is Planet Mira the same as Bionis and Mechonis after Shulk rebooted the universe, and how does that explain how the Mimiosomes are still alive if the Lifehold is broken? Well, remember at the end, Shulk becomes a god in his own way. Like, he becomes a god. And Zanza, the god of nature, Maineth, the goddess of machines, they're dead. But their Monados, their swords, the blades that contain their various powers, they're still around. They're floating up there and waiting to be used. And Shulk is the only one who can use them at this point. So Shulk uses his own Monado, combined it with Zanza and Maineth's Monado, to reboot the universe. And just sort of speaking in terms of physics here, wouldn't like this massive burst of power that rebooted the universe leave some kind of, I guess, fallout on the spot where it was rebooted? So what I think is that on the planet that was made from the remains of Bionis and Mechonis after Shulk rebooted the universe, there is some leftover power from the three Monados that affects the planet. And this is why I think the Lifehold was able to break, but the Mimiosomes could still live. Because, again, Maineth, goddess of machines. Mimiosomes are machines. Zanza, the god of nature. And the Lifehold was holding the, like, organic DNA and protoplasm stuff that they would use to rebuild the bodies of humanity and put our consciousness that was being stored in a database on Lifehold into our new organic bodies. So it was holding like organic material, but it was also holding technology. And so if it came into contact with this godly power of nature and machines, those things could react to that power. And since the Lifehold was sending a signal to the Mimiosomes of New LA to make sure that their consciousness was still alive, that fallout power reacting with the organic material and the database on the Lifehold, like that reaction could have like permanently implanted like the life force of all these surviving humans into their Mimiosomes. And remember, they explained at when they crashed on Mira, they just suddenly went offline for a little bit, all the Mimiosomes, but then they woke back up. And people were assuming, oh, that was just them adjusting or something. No, that could have been, again, emphasis on the could, that could have been the fallout from Zanza's Monado and Maineth's Monado, like, putting the life force and the memories and the consciousness, just everything about each of these individual humans that was on the Lifehold into their Mimiosomes, not only creating a new life form, but also like just making sure that humanity was still alive. I'm not saying that the power was conscious, but I guess that's the only way that I can describe it. It basically meant that these humans were alive again, in like even if they were Mimiosomes, they were still the humans they once were. And again, this is just a theory, this is just a speculation based off of what I took in from these two games. And again, like it's just speculation, but there is so much about Xenoblade Chronicles X that like is thrown back to the original game. Like the Nopon or the Nopon, whatever you want to call them, that's just one thing. And if Mira is the planet that was made from the remains of Bionis and Mechonis, then how did the Nopon, how did they not know about Shulk, all his friends, Zanza, Maineth, Albus, all the crazy shit that went down all those years ago. Emphasis on that last phrase, all those years ago. Because, yeah, we could say that all the different territories of Mira were similar to whatever remained of Bionis and Mechonis at the end of Xenoblade before Shulk rebooted the universe. Or no, after Shulk rebooted the universe. But this could have been eons afterward. Because again, it's like Shulk rebooted the universe. Various places would have had to start from scratch, practically. Nature would have had to start from scratch. So, this could have been so long ago that the only remaining life form on Bionis and Mechonis, or that became Mira, could have been the Nopon, the Nopon. And they decided to stay there. Whereas the Homs, Hyantia, and Machina, they could have either left the planet, or something could have happened between the three races that meant the three individual races either weren't around anymore or became one. I sort of thought that maybe L could have been the combination of all three of those races in one. He does sort of look like a weird-ass combination of them, and he does have the British accent. But as far as I know, that can't really be the case because... And this could be because I've forgotten L's specific line of side quests. I feel like such an idiot for that. But I don't think there's more than just one of him. L says us or we and stuff like that, but I think that's just because he doesn't really know human dialect that well. So that could be a kink in this possibility, but again, this is just a thought. And one thing that could potentially answer these questions, possibly make a connection, is a third game. It's a third game. I don't know exactly what the third game would be like or would be called, but again, the ending of this game and the post-credit scene indicates to a direct sequel. And that direct sequel could take the long-ass time of a monolith RPG to explain the connections between these. If I'm right, that'd be great. If they find other reason to connect these two, I'd still buy into it. But just the simple thought of combining the gameplay mechanics, the world scope, and the intuitive side quest design of this game with the story, characters, and uniqueness of this game into one, oh my god. But, yeah, that is my 2 cents on what I think the ending of Xenoblade Chronicles X was, how that post-credit scene could be explained, and potentially the concept for a third Xenoblade game. Seriously, Monolith, if you're watching this, by some freaking miracle, take that into consideration. I already love these two games to death, and a third one, please. Please. What do you guys think? Should Monolith make a third Xenoblade game? Do you think the two connect, or do you think they should just keep making spiritual successor games to each other? Let me know in the comments section below, talk about it amongst yourselves, and yeah, let's just hope we see more from these guys, because they are awesome. Anyway guys, that is it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to subscribe for more. Have an awesome day, and I will see you all next time.